This is my take on a zero budget animation. So if you're an animator, you're using Flash or whatever, probably you don't even want to do this one. Also, I'm going to show you how to draw characters. If you're a lousy drawer, in which I am. So what I've done is I've gone over and I've found a couple of characters that I'm going to kind of draw over or kind of draw. And I just basically look for boy on Google. And I think the best type of character to get is somebody that's on sort of like an angle, a slight walking angle. When they're full on, it's really hard to make them walk or make them look like they're moving forward. So they only can stand still. So this guy, he looks like he can move forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this image. And we're not going to actually copy it completely. We're just going to use it as kind of like an idea. And then this is what I'm using. I'm using GIMP. Let's see what I did here. Copy image. And yeah, not working. And I pasted him in. And this thing here is 1920 by 1080. And he's bigger than that. So that's fine. We're going to make him a new layer, and we're just going to use the Shift T, and we're going to scale him down. And I was using, when I did Shift T up here, I was holding the Control key to scale him up and down so that he doesn't scale like this. So then I'm hitting the M key, and I'm moving him up. And he's on his own layer. And what we're going to do is for my type of animation, what I do is I break the character up into the head, the body, left arm, right arm, and the legs. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new layer. And we're just going to draw the legs. And I'm just going to use the paint tool. Like that. Just draw on this layer here. And I probably should call it legs. Okay, so problem is the undo just undid my okay, so called it legs. Okay. So I'm moving up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create his legs a little high, and I'm not actually going to use exactly what they did here. Maybe I'm going to use a smaller brush, maybe 15. And let's see, and that looks good. And we'll just go up here. Now this is very rough, right? And what I could do is I could turn the opacity down here so I can get a better idea. So I'm going to go back onto the legs. Now you can do this in FireAlpaca, similar, but I'm just doing it in GIMP because I'm going to show you something else later on. So that's the legs, and that's pretty good. Now what I should do is I should create a group, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to drag it into here. Am I? Oh yeah, I am. So now what I'm doing is create another layer. And I'm going to move the legs layer above this layer. Now I'm going to go into the legs layer, and I'm going to use the highlighting thing, and I'm going to highlight all the lines. Now I'm going to do select, grow, and I'm going to grow it by 2. And as you can see, it's kind of gone in here. Now I'm going to go down to this layer, and I'm going to pick a color, and let's give him, oh, I don't know, a bluey gray, and use the bucket, which is a Shift B, and basically hit the click the left mouse button, sorry, and now we've painted his pants, but as you can see, this wasn't enough. So let's grow the selection a little bit more, and you figure this out by trial and error. And this is where FireAlpaca is really good, because it will paint below this on the lower layer using the above line. So FireAlpaca is a really good application for that. So if you want to use that. So now we're going to go up here, and let's go in here and we'll create a new layer, and we're going to make this say the body. And let's get back our black, and we'll get our thing here, and we'll just draw. Oops, what are we doing here? Here we go. I'm going to draw this free. Oh, I got the selection here, so sorry. Here we go. Shift Control A, or it would be up here. Say select none. So I'm just going to draw this by hand, which is really hard with the mouse, but I'm going to do it anyways. And I'm just going to draw his shoulders like that, and a bit of a neck and shoulders, and then we'll draw a shirt like this. Now this is really crummy, and that's fine. So now we're going to do, now what are we going to do? we want to paint it. The hard part is painting that, because if there's an open thing here, it's going to go all around. So what we could do is we create a new layer like this, and that's going to be our color layer. Sometimes I just call them color and I call them lines like that. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Control Shift D and duplicate that, and then I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to kind of do this just to close off the lines, right? And then I'm going to come in here and highlight and grow it. Now it looks like I got to grow it by 4, so I'll grow it by 4, and I'll pick a color, maybe this lovely light blue here, go down to the color and paint it. Now I'll come back up to the line here, and I will use this, grow the thing by 4, and we'll pick a skin. Skin is going to be hard. We'll just call it that. Come down back to the color, and there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of here, and now see, you can see I've got the lines for this one were just kind of drawn in, but now when I get rid of those lines and this lines below, that can make our shirt. Now we need to make his head. So we'll make a new layer group. Let's go a new layer group, and we're gonna have to drag this out, and then a couple of new layers like that. Now you can also hide some of these things like that. And let's go and draw his head. Now I'm going to draw his head in a different way. What I'm going to use this tool here called the Path tool. And I'm just going to click around where I think I want to have like the angles. And we'll go around his ear here. And then I'm going to do Control and then left mouse button click to close it off. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here zooming in. I'm using Control and up wheel to zoom in. And I'm going to use the Control key and left mouse button click and just kind of go around using Control and left mouse button and create these little extra areas. Now this one didn't work out so well. What I'm going to do is do Shift and Control and go like that to delete that, and then use a Control and then go up here to get more of a round thing. And now you can use these to make them a little bit bigger or whatever. As you can see, we're creating this sort of like arcs around the person. And we're using Control. And there we go. And you can, like I say, you can come in with these ones in here and you can make them whatever. We're just doing it for showing you. And I'm just going to do this really quickly. And maybe do another one. Now, like I say, you can delete them and add new ones in or whatever, just to kind of get a better curve. And so now this path shows up down here, right? And we can call that face. And we'll just keep going. So now I'm going to do a Shift and start again. And I'm just going to really go quickly. I'm not going to worry about how his hair looks that much. In fact, I'm just going to come down to here. And now I'm probably going to want to come in close and like that. And the reason is we're going to draw a line around this. So you want the line to kind of end up where it starts. And let's come over here. We're not going to worry about that ear for now. And we're just going to come over and give it a bit more of curves. And this is really good because now you can get like somebody's picture and kind of get an idea of how you want it. And you could add more things. So if I wanted to add maybe a little swoop out here, then I could do Shift and then, oops, did it right. There we go. And then I can curve this and then curve that and then move it in there and move it in there. Now I'm making my own hair, right? So now what I want to do is I want to be on an open layer, and I right mouse button click, go to my path tool and go stroke path. And it's going to show me the line width. And I think 6 will be okay in this case. So we'll say yes. Now you could use the paintbrush tool, whatever the paintbrush tool is over here, but I don't mind doing this. So I'm going to try and stroke that, and it stroked it in yellow. I didn't want that. So let's go back to black, and we can just stroke that path again. And as you can see, it's actually made the lines. And some of them turned out quite well here. So let's just get rid of the background picture. The background here. And you can see that turned out pretty good. So I think we're going to stick with that. And now we're going to color it in. So we're going to pick the yellow that we had for the skin. And we're going to come over here and get the selection tool and select the face and then grow that again. And then use the Shift B for bucket fill and go down onto the color layer and basically color it in. Now we want to color his hair in as well. So we'll do the same sort of thing. Now, like I say, FireAlpaca is going to be way better for this. And let's just pick a gray. So I'm going to come over here and pick a gray color. And you could pick any colors you like, right? Oops, made a mistake there. There we go. And that didn't work good enough. So what's going on here? Because I'm doing it on the wrong layer. And there we go. So here he is. Now, we've got a head, body, and I'm going to leave you to go and do the eyes and arms. Let's see. Let's just do one arm. So let's bring in the character here. And I'm going to stop for a sec so I can start a new video. Okay, we're going to draw an arm. I've created a layer group for it in 2 new layers. And I'm just going to quickly draw it. Now I've changed it down to, I'm going to change it to 8. You probably should keep your sizes consistent. And let's see, we'll use the paint. I'll make sure you're on the right line. And I'm just using the Shift and then left mouse button. And that's not showing up. So why is that not showing up? So select none. And here we go. And that's using gray. So we want to make sure we use the correct color. And we're just going to come in and draw. Now this is very fast, very quick. And we'll draw his hand. Now we're probably going to want to draw along here and along there. And now I'm doing kind of both freehand and regular. Okay, so we drew it. Now let's get rid of the body. And that's probably perfect. Now what we're going to do is we want to do the painting in again. And that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this layer, which I'm going to use Shift Control D, or you could just right mouse button and duplicate the layer. And then I'm going to draw, let's see, let's get the body, and I'm going to draw like that. And then I'm going to use this thing, highlight it, grow it by 4, and then come down here. Oh, I need that color. Where's that color? Here's that color. Go down to my color layer and paint it. And for the hand, we could just do it on the other layer, I think. And grow that. Oops, hold on. Let's do this again and do that here. There we go. And go down to there. Pick our colors. And really, you'd probably be better off to do all your lines first and then come in and color later. So now we've got our one up here. So let's get rid of this. And as you can see, it kind of is okay. So now we can come in here with the eraser and maybe just erase a few things out here. Oops, hold on. There we go. Come in with the eraser and let's try that again. Okay, I had the selection on. So come in with the eraser and erase a little bit here and just clean this up a little bit with the eraser. And then that looks pretty good, right? So let's take this guy and duplicate this layer, right? And then get the layer and go layer, transform, and flip horizontally. And it didn't work. Did it work? No, it didn't work. Oh, yes, it did. So we're going to get this, and we're going to do the move tool. Now we have to hold the Shift key down to get the whole layer, and we're going to drag it over to here. Now, as you can see, we might need to do a little bit of fixing up. So we'll get our pen, our brush, and we can just come over to our layer here and pick the right color, of course. There. Now I'm just going to come in and get this color. I'm just going to draw it in for now. There we go. Great. Now you could do something like rotate this just to make sure that it fits here, but I'm not going to worry about that. But I'll just show you how to rotate it. It's Shift R, and we're going to pick the rotation point. We're going to grab that with the left mouse button and move that up there, and you could just kind of like rotate that down there. So now it's sitting right on there, and it's going to go through all the layers. You need to do it on the layer group, and it's messed that up a bit, so we can come in here and just clean that up with the paint brush. There you go. And now we've got some arms. Now let's just make one more other arm. So we're going to do another layer group. And I'll get rid of this guy, and I'm just going to draw an arm kind of like out. So new layer. And we're just going to draw like an arm, let's see, there, and then oops, there, and then there, and I'm using Shift, and there. And let's draw the hand. I'm not really good at drawing hands, but let's see if he's going to do out. So we go up, and we'll draw a thumb up. And then we'll draw his hand like this. Now you can draw them any way you like. This is probably not the best way to draw hands, and there's lots of hand examples on the web. So, but you could just draw anything you like, and I'm just going to draw a thing here. So that's kind of like a very big hand, and you could always come in and you could always like grab this and resize it. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to assume that everything we do is right. So let's just leave his hand like that. So now I'm going to duplicate that layer again for the lines, and then I'm going to come in and get rid of the body. Oops, where's the body? There's the body. And I'm just going to do my drawing into the body here. And then select it. Oops, what happened wrong? Let's get rid of that. There we go. Grow that. And we're going to paint it. Need to create a layer for it. Now, as you can see, that we've already named the layer color, so it called it color 1 and painted in there. And we'll do that for the hand as well. Now we don't need this layer anymore. And we'll go here. Come down here, and we'll paint that. Now we've got 2 arms. So let's go with the background. Oh, that background's no good. Let's see, background, we're going to make it layer to image size. There we go, white background. So now we've got a character. We could put a mouth on him, we could put eyes on him. But now you've got your character, you can animate him. So you could say, you could do a picture. Actually, what we're going to do now is we're going to get all of his parts. Okay, so we have our character. Now we're going to animate him. So what we'll do is we'll get the first picture, and this is a 1920 by 1080, so that's a high definition. So we'll get the first one, and we'll go export as frame 01. And then you could say, hi, blah, 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 and you can make new mouths, and you can open and close them. And then you could say, this is my friend over here to the left, and then you could export that as frame 02. And you can keep making different arms, and you could get his head, and let's see. Now, one of the things that's really cool is that you can, what happens is each layer right now is really big, and it's taking up the whole thing. Now, once you've actually made your character's parts, you can actually make them smaller by using something called auto crop the layer. And what it'll do is it'll auto crop the head to a small thing. Now that makes it better because when you want to get that layer and you say, oh, this is my friend over here, you can say transform, you can flip it horizontally, and that's it. Now he's looking that way. Now we can get that, and we can move that out as frame 3. Now that's really good. Now if you are smarter, you'll figure out a way to how to put things inside of things. So let's see. Well, let's just call this guy Ralph. Hi, Ralph. And this is something bone connects to the whatever connects to the whatever bone. So let's also make a layer group called left arm. I'm going to put this left arm there, and this left arm there. And what's this? Is this his right arm? That's his right arm. So we can make another layer group called right arm. And move that in there. Like that. And let's make another layer group called, let's just do it. And then move his arm in here, move it in there. Now we're trying to kind of make out a hierarchy here. So let's say body. And move his, move his body into the body. And his left arm is attached to that. So okay. So now if we get the body and we decide to rotate it, rotate the body like this, all his arms move. So it looks like we also got to get the head under that. So the head's connected to his body. And then we get his body, and then we can rotate it. We move the axis here where we want to rotate it, and now you can see him rotate. So what it'll do is it'll go through and it'll rotate all of the sub layers. Now, of course, you don't want to keep it that way. You wouldn't want to save it like that. But what you would do is you would wait till it finishes rendering, which is going to take a second. Maybe more than a second. And there he is. Now he's moved over. Now I could export that out as another frame. Now, depending on how we do Ralph, so it looks like Ralph's head and his arms. So now what we should do is we should get these guys and we should create something called a torso and put that in torso. All right, here we go. Do we care about that? No, we don't. We don't care about torso. So now you can get his head and you can rotate it. Move the rotation point down here, and I can move my head. And there you go. And I can move it back, or you can Control Z and it'll move it back. And what I suggest you do is Control Z all those things. So we're going to Control Z, and hopefully what will happen is he will go back to being standing up. Maybe not. So let's get his body. Stick him back. Now what I would suggest you do is once you've got your character created, save him out and don't use that copy. Use a different copy for doing your animations. And we're going to wait for it to render. My poor computer's dying. And here he comes. Now let's see if we close Ralph up. We don't have his legs in there, so we need to put his legs below his body. And now we can get Ralph, and we can get the move key, the move function tool, and we could actually, you have to hold the shift key down and move him across the thing. So now Ralph moves across the screen. And you can make that, say, frame 5. So now how to make Ralph move. Let's get him, get his head, transform it, flip it, put his arm down. Let's see, get that other arm over there. Where'd his arm go? Got rid of that arm, get that arm. Where'd that arm go? There we go, there's arm. Where's his other arm? Oh, here it is. This can get a bit confusing, but I mean, you can see how you can animate. Let's get Ralph, use the move tool, and move him over here. And here he comes. Okay, Ralph's going to move in. And let's see, Ralph comes in. Oops. There we go. So let's go frame 6. And then move Ralph over a little bit. And go frame 7. And then move Ralph over a little bit more. And I'm just using Shift and the left mouse button click. All right, let's go see what we're going to get out of this. Now I'm going to go over the downloads. I'm going to look at my pictures. And it's just rendering here. Okay. So let's have a look at Ralph move. Now this is just, the viewer. So Ralph's moving backwards. Okay, so Ralph moves forwards. So, I mean, if you did that in a Windows Movie Maker, you could actually make him move. And let's go, he was over here, he was there, he's bending up and down, and I'm just moving this back and forth. And this is now you could put this in PowerPoint as well, right? And his head's moving. This looks like animation to me, right? And this is just done with GIMP, and you can put these into Windows Movie Maker. And with a bit of with Audacity, if you do your sound over, hello, 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 hello. So as you can see, you can do animation and not have any program like whatever they use. What do they use? Whatever Adobe uses. They're Adobe users. So I think anybody, what's the good thing about this is once you've made Ralph, and if you make multiple arms and maybe a few different types of eyes, let's just draw some eyes on Ralph here, just quickly. So if here's an eye. Usually what's an expression in an eye is the eyebrows. So Ralph's okay. Ralph's mad. Ralph's just normal. And draw a mouth, right? So you can put this in, and I would recommend doing it this way. I would still recommend using this particular method. This one here. To make mouths, right? And stroke the path. Put them on different layers, and of course you want to name your paths. That makes better mouths, really. But as you can see, I've done this all with free software. I've done it pretty quick. I've done it in probably about 18 minutes. And all I need to do now is do my voiceover in Audacity, and then get my slides and put them together. Now, Tony V Tunes, what he does is he gets Ralph, and we're going to copy, we're going to get Ralph, and we're going to get rid of this. We don't need that. And we're going to, what they do is they make a copy of this. So it's Control-Shift-C. And then I'm going to paste him back. Edit, paste as new layer. And Tony V Tunes and the Odd Ones Out does this. So let's just hide this Ralph. And what he does is in between each frame, he gets this area here and he does that. So what he'll do is and let's just go frame 10. And then he gets this and he does the squash, and then we'll go frame 11. And then we'll probably get rid of this and we'll change Ralph in some way. So let's just change Ralph's head. Oops. Hold on. There we go. We'll get rid of that. And we'll just change Ralph's head now. And then we'll save that out as 12. So here we are. And this is, sorry I didn't have the white background. And here we're going to flip through the pictures. Oops, wrong way. So it goes there. Now this is how Tony V Tunes and the Odd Ones Out do it. So now this happens for one frame. Now I can't seem to move it fast enough with a computer because I'm just using the picture viewer. So that is pretty much it. Now I think I will leave it there. If anybody's got any questions, please put them in the comments. Maybe if you want me to make another Zero tutorial, I can make it. All right. Take care, animators.